Welcome to this video. In this video we want to show that the average internal rate of return is the weighted mean of the one period rates of a project. So we start from this project whose profit is shown in row 7. Time 1 we have 375, at time 2 we have 225, and so on. The project lasts 10 years. Then we have the pro forma book value of this project. 600 is invested at time 0, 400 is the invested capital at time 1, and so on until time 10. At time 10 the project is over and the invested capital is 0. We assume that the cost of capital, denoted as R, is 15%. These are the discount factors. They are collected in row 10. We have already computed in a previous video the rate of return as the ratio of total return to total capital. Now we want to show that the 45.5% rate of return can be seen as the weighted mean of the one period rates of return. Now let us compute the one period rates of return, period which are period return, internal rate of return, because these rates of return are internal to the project. They are one period rates of return, and they are internal. Okay, let's start the first rate of return. Now the profit in year 1 is 375. We divide this profit by 600 invested capital. At the beginning of the first period, 600 euros have been invested or are to be invested, and the result is 62.5%. This is the first period rate of return for this project. Then we copy this formula and we get all the one period internal rates of return of this project. Note that in year 5 the rate of return is negative because the profit is minus 40 and the invested capital is 250. Now these rates of return are what are usually called return on investment. So we can write ROI, return on investment. We now show that the project's rate of return is the weighted mean, is the book value weighted mean of these ROIs. These ROIs are weighted, and we have to compute the weights to which these ROIs are applied. The weights of the mean. Now in the first period, note that 600 euros are invested at the beginning of the first period, and also note that the total capital invested is 1,790.75. Let us recalculate the total capital. The total capital can be found using the sum product function. We have to multiply each book value with the discount factor. we have to compute the weight. The weight is given by the present value of the capital invested divided by the total capital, which is the present value of all the capital amounts. Now, the first weight is given by the product of the book value by the discount factors, that is the present value of the book value. In this case, at time 0, the present value of 600 is 600 itself, divided by the total capital. And we get 33.5%. Let's do it for the second period. In the second period, the capital invested is 400. Now we compute the present value of 400. Then we multiply 400 by the associated discount factor, 0.87. And then we divided this present value, we have just calculated a present value, we divide the present value by the total capital invested. And so on. Again, third period, the present value of 350 is 350 times 0.76, and we divide this present value by the total capital invested, and so on, and we just have to copy and paste. We have all the weights. Now we can compute the rate of return, which is the mean, the weighted mean of the ROIs. We just have to compute the product of the ROIs and their weights, and then sum the result. And we can use the sum product function. RA1 is given by the stream of the returns on investment. RA2 is given by the stream of weights. And what we get is exactly what we have already obtained in the previous video. That is 45.5% return.